morning. Myself P. Selva Banapriya, Assistant Professor from the Department of Computer Science and Engineering, Bharat Institute of Higher Education and Research. Today I am going to present a topic, cryptographic attacks from the subject web security. So let us move on to the topic, cryptographic attacks. So in the previous video, we have learned what is cryptographic and what are the techniques and what are the attackers based on the performance we are using in the cryptographic. So let us have a recap on that. Cryptographic is nothing but it's a conversion of transformation of one format of text into another form, that is plain text into ciphertext. Here we are having two types of transformation. One is ciphertext transformation, another one is code text transformation. In the cipher, we are transforming bit by bit or character by character transformation, and in the codes transformation, they are transferring block to block. One block of text is transferred to another block of text. So that is the cryptographic concept. Here, mainly cryptography is used to avoid hackers and intruders attack. Okay. So what are the cryptographic attacks? So in this video, we are going to see what are the cryptographic attacks. The basic intention of an attacker is to break the crypto system and to find a plain text from the ciphertext. Okay. So what is the crypto system? In the sense, it's nothing but a systematic of procedure of encryption and decryption. That is, the sender has to encrypt the message and it has to transfer into the transmission media, and the receiver has to receive the message and they have to decrypt it. Okay. So such a systematic procedure, we can call it as a crypto system. So what is the main intention of cryptographic attack is they have to break a crypto system. They have to break this systematic procedure and to find the plain text from the ciphertext. Okay. So if I'm going to send a message in the by using cryptographic system, means the message has to hack by ciphertext has to hack by the hackers, and they have to find the plain text. If they find the plain text, means they are the breaking of crypto system. The crypto system is breaking. Okay. To obtain the plain text, the attacker only needs to find out the secret decryption key, as the algorithm is already in public domain. So how can the attackers find out the plain text? Okay. So to find out the plain text, they have to find out the secret decryption key. So how can they find out the decryption key? By using the algorithm. So algorithm is already in the public domain. Everyone can see that algorithm. So if you see that algorithm, we can easily find out how they are generating the key. Okay. So at what basis they are generating key and what are the key length, keys, everything we can learn from the algorithm. So based on the algorithm and they are having the ciphertext, by using both, they can try to find out the key. So if once they find out the key, they can easily find out the plain text. So this is the basic intention of the attackers. Okay. So hence he applies maximum effort towards finding out the secret key used in the crypto system. So they have to find out they have to put their maximum efforts. They keep on trying to find out the secret key. Once the attacker is able to determine the key, the attack system is considered as a broken or compromised system. Okay. If any attacker find out the key based on any particular algorithm, means the particular attack system, we can call it as a broken system or compromised system. Okay. So the basic intention of attackers is used to break a crypto system. That is, they have to find out the secret decryption key. Once they find out, they can easily find out the plain text. So if they find out the plain text, means their crypto system is broken. Okay. Next one is, here we are using some terminologies in the cryptographic attacks. One is plain text, ciphertext, cryptanalyst, and cipher. So what is plain text? In the sense, the text that has not been encrypted. So original message, we can say it is a plain text. Ciphertext means the text that has been encrypted, which is after encrypting message, we can call it as a ciphertext. Cryptanalyst means the person knowledgeable in breaking encryption without key, that is cryptanalyst, that is attackers, intruders. Without key, without the original key, they are trying to find out the plain text. Okay. Next one, cipher, a way of hiding the content and message of plain text. Okay. So ciphertext is nothing but cipher is what is the process What are the encryption technique we are using to convert the plain text? Okay, so that conversion we can call it as a cipher. Next one is, what are the cryptographic attacks? Okay, so many attacks are there. Here we are going to learn 5 attacks. Okay, based on the methodology used, attacks and crypto system are categorized as follows. Okay. Ciphertext only attacks, COA, known plain text attack, KPA, chosen plain text attack, CPA, brute force attack, BFA, birthday attack, BA. Okay, so many attacks are there. Here we are going to see 5 attacks. Okay, so first one is ciphertext only attack. Ciphertext only attack is, in this method, the attacker has access to a set of ciphertext. He does not have access to corresponding plain text. Okay, so this type of attackers can get the ciphertext only. Okay, they don't have any access to get the plain text. In this attack on the encryption, attacker or cryptanalyst can only observe the ciphertext. In other words, they can only see what all of us see. That is, in encryption, in a communication channel, what others can see, only the analysis, the cryptanalyst or attacker also see. Okay, they can just only observe the ciphertext like passive attackers. Okay, so what I already told, passive attackers is the attackers, just they are getting a message from the communication channel. They are not altering anything and they are not changing, getting a plain text, and they are not disturbing the channel, just getting the ciphertext. The same, this type of attackers also getting the ciphertext. Okay, COA is said to be successful when the corresponding plain text can be determined from the given set of ciphertext. When can we say this type of attack is successful? Means when they are getting the corresponding plain text for a determined ciphertext. That is, once they are getting observing ciphertext, if they are getting a corresponding plain text for that ciphertext, means we can say they are successful. Okay. Occasionally, the encryption key can be determined from this attack. So, occasionally they are not trying the plain text in always. By occasionally, they can determine the encryption, key or plain text. Okay. Modern ciphers are guarded against ciphertext only attacks, because nowadays this is a very basic attack technique. Nowadays, so many cipher techniques, encryption techniques are there. So, which is more guarded against the ciphertext only attack. These attackers cannot find out the modern cipher technique. Next one. See here. This is the ciphertext. So this type of cryptanalyst does not have any of the plain text. They went into encryption algorithm. They have no idea what plain text created in the ciphertext, and they are totally passive. So I already told they are like passive attackers. So this is the ciphertext which is get by the cryptanalyst. This type of cryptanalyst. Okay, they are getting this ciphertext from the transmission media, and they can try to find out the plain text. They can try. So once they get the plain text, means we can say they are successful. If they are not getting, means they are unsuccessful. Always they are unsuccessful only. By occasionally they can find out the plain text. So most encryption algorithms are not vulnerable to this type of attack, and the attacker's cryptanalysis probability of success is very low. Okay, so most of the encryption algorithms are not vulnerable for this type of attackers. Okay, see the picturized representation. Here, Alice and Bob is communicating each other. The Alice is encrypting the message, and they are converted into ciphertext, and the ciphertext is transferred to the transmission media, and the Bob is getting the ciphertext. In between, this type of ciphertext only attackers is getting the ciphertext. They are getting the ciphertext from the channel, and they are analyzing the ciphertext, and they're trying to get the plain text. Okay. So once they get, means they can break the crypto system. Okay, so this is the picturization of ciphertext only attack. Next one is known plain text attack. In this method, the attacker knows the plain text for some part of ciphertext. Okay, so in the previous one, the attackers are getting the ciphertext, and they are trying to find out the plain text. In this method, The attackers knows the plain text for some part of ciphertext. Okay, say they may know some part of plain text, not the entire part, some part of the plain text. Okay, the task is to decrypt the rest of the ciphertext using the encryption. So they got some part of plain text. What is their task is to decrypt the remaining part of the ciphertext. Okay, this may be done by determining the key or via some other method. They can find out by using the key or else some other method. That is, they can find out the using the algorithm. The best example of this attack is linear cryptanalysis against block cipher. So the here best example is linear cryptanalysis. Okay, so here this type of attacks, what they are doing means they are getting some part of plain text and they are comparing the some part of plain text with the ciphertext and they are trying to find out the key, how they are encrypt that message. After finding out, they are after finding the key, they are decrypting the remaining part of the ciphertext. In this attack, the attacker cryptanalysts know the plain text that generates the ciphertext. They know some plain text. They can't select the plain text, but they can observe plain text ciphertext pairs. That is, they are getting some part of plain text, right? So they are comparing what is the corresponding ciphertext for that plain text. Okay. So if they are comparing means they may get a chance to find out the entire ciphertext. Okay. The attack has significantly better chance of success than COA. So here they can get more success when compared to previous techniques. Simple XOR ciphers and old PKs were vulnerable to this attack. Okay, so this techniques are vulnerable to this attack. From a historical, here we are having a real-time example for this. From a historical context, this is one of the approaches taken by Bletchley Park by Alan Turing machine and his team to decipher the Nazi messages generated by the German Enigma machine. They knew that German messages had some common plaintext in their messages, such as header and weather forecast, which means in a Second World War, the German Enigma machine, they are sending a message from German to their soldiers. They are the German, in the Second World War, the German country is sending the message to their soldiers. Okay, by using German Enigma machine. They are sending a message by using this machine. They are generate a message called Nazi message. The Nazi message is generated by this machine and which is sent to their soldier. Okay, so here the Bletchley Park, in the place of Bletchley Park, by using Alan Turing machine and his team, Alan Turing and his team, they are trying to decipher the Nazi message. Okay, so the Germany is sending the message to soldier. The message was deciphered by this team, Alan Turing team. Okay, how they are decipher means by using known plain text attack. Okay, so how they are doing means they knew that German messages had some common plain text in their message, such as headers and weather forecast. Okay, so the whatever the message sent by Germany to their soldiers, they are having headers and weather forecast common message in all the messages. So today they are sending one message, tomorrow they are sending one message, day after tomorrow they are sending one message. Means in all the messages they are having one common message, headers and weather forecast. Okay, so if they know this common plain text in all the message means they can easily find out the key and they can easily decipher the remaining text. Okay, so here the known plain text is header and weather forecast. By using this comparison, the header and weather forecast, they are comparing corresponding ciphertext, part of ciphertext, and they are finding the key and by using that key, they are finding the remaining part of the ciphertext. Okay, so here known plain text. See the picturization, known plain text. Here Alice sending the encrypting the message and ciphertext converts it as ciphertext and it transmits to the transmission media and it reaches the bar. In the meanwhile, their known plain text attacker are getting the ciphertext. Okay, and they are analyzing and they are already know previous previous message. They are comparing the previous plain text with ciphertext. So how they are encrypted the message. So in the meanwhile, they can by using this they can find out the key and they may find out the key or they may find out the encryption technique. So by using this, they can find out the remaining ciphertext. Okay. So this is the known plain text attack. So in this chosen plain text attack, the cryptanalyst can choose arbitrary plain text data to be encrypted, and then he receives the corresponding ciphertext. He tries to acquire the secret. Next one is chosen plain text attack. In chosen plain text attack, the cryptanalyst can choose arbitrary plain text data to be encrypted, and then he receives the corresponding ciphertext. Okay. So here in this attack, the cryptanalyst is getting the plain text to be encrypted. They are getting the plain text before encrypting itself. That which means they are getting the data from the user itself. He tries to acquire the secret encryption key, or alternatively to create an algorithm which would allow him to decrypt any ciphertext message encrypted using this key. Okay, so this type of attackers can find out the secret encryption key, or else they can find out the new algorithm to decrypt the message. Okay, so this is rather comfortable situation for the attacker. He can obtain more information about the secret key and about the whole attack system, because he's able to choose any text to be processed by the cipher. Okay, that is before encrypting itself, they are getting the information and they are comparing with ciphertext and they are trying to determine the key. If not, they can find out the new algorithm. He can analyze the system behavior and output ciphertext based on any kind of input. They are analyzing all the behaviors of the ciphertext and output. Based on that, they are finding the plain text. Chosen plain text attack. See the picturization representation. Here, Alice and Bob is communicating with each other. This type of attackers are getting some part of plain text from before encrypting from the user. Okay, so that some part of plain text is compared with, and they are getting ciphertext also. So some part of plain text is compared with ciphertext, and they are trying to find out the key and the technique. So once they find out the key and algorithm technique, they can easily find out the remaining plain text. So this is the chosen plain text. Next one is brute force attack. So in this method, the attacker tries to determine the key by attempting all possible keys. Okay, here they are finding the attempting all possible keys. If the key is 8-bit long, then the number of possible key is 2 power 8. Okay, so if your key is 8-bit long, means the number of possible key is 2 power 8. Okay, if the key size is 2, means the number of possible key is 2 power 2, that is 4. Okay, so they are in this attack, they are trying to determine the key by attempting all possible keys. All the possible ways they are going to find out the key. The attacker knows the ciphertext and the algorithm. Now he attempt all the 256 keys one by one for decryption. How they are finding the ciphertext means, this type of attacker can know the ciphertext and they can know the algorithm. So algorithm is in public domain, so they can know the algorithm. Okay. By using these two, they are trying to find out the key. Okay. The time to complete the attack would be very high if the key is long. Okay. If it is if the key size is very small, means they can easily find out. That is, if the key size is 2 bit, means the possible ways 2 power 4. Sorry, 2 power 2. That is 4 possible ways. So if they try four possible way, means if they can easily find out the key. Okay. So if the key size is long, that is, if the key size is 10, means it was too difficult. If the key size is 8 or 9, means it's too difficult. For example, if the key size is 8, means the possible ways of attempting is 256. If you are increasing only one bit, that is 2 power 9, means the 256 will be double. Okay, so if each and every increasing or each and bit increasing in the key will increase the number of attempting. So it is somewhat difficult to find out the key. See here they are having this picturization representation. The attackers are using automated tool to find out the key. So they are using a tool. So multiple attempts. So 256 attempts they are doing to find out the key. Okay, so this is the picturization representation. Next one is birthday attack. in this attack is a variant of brute force technique. It is used against the cryptographic hash function. Okay, so this attack is mainly used to attack the hash function. So the previous attacks and all we can use in symmetric key and asymmetric key encryption technique. So this is the only attack to break up the hash function. Okay, so the birthday attack belongs to the family of brute force attack, which comes under brute force attack only and is based on the probability theorem. Okay, so this attack is also comes under brute force theorem attack, because here also we are going to find out the key only. So here somewhat different. Here we are using probability theorem. Okay, so it is a cryptographic attack and its success is largely based on the birthday paradox problem. Here they are using some problem called as birthday paradox problem, which means such attacks are designed to exploit the communication between two parties and largely depends on the commonness found between multiple random attacks and a fixed degree of permutation. Here they are going to apply the birthday paradox problem to exploit the communication between the two parties. Okay, so what is the birthday paradox problem in the sense? What is birthday paradox problem? If you have n number of students in a room, there is a possibility that few of them will have their birthdays on same day. Okay, so normal year has 365 days. Fill the room with 23 students. That is what is birthday paradox problem. By using this problem, we are finding the encryption key. Okay, so what is the problem actually means? Consider we are having n number of students in a room. There is a possibility that few of them will have the same birthdays. Okay, so consider this: a normal year has 365 days and the room is 23 students. We are having 23 students and the normal year is 365 days. Here, first student has 1 by 365 chance to share his birthday with the remaining 22 students. That means his probability is 22 by 365, which means I'm going to check the first student birthday, whether they are having a same birthday with the first student. That is, consider the first student birthday is Jan 1st. Okay, so I'm going to compare with the remaining 22 students whether they are having Jan 1st as their birthday. Okay, so which means 365, among this 365, one day is the birthday. So 1 by 365 is the chance to get a birthday, and they can share this birthday with the remaining 22 students, which means 22 divided by 365. So 22% can have a birthday among 365 days, which may be same with the person or not, may not. Okay, so similarly I can check the second person also. So first student birthday does not match. If the student does not match, means I have to check it is unique. If it is not match, means the first student is unique. Okay, so I am going to remove that person and I am going to check with the second student. The second student will have a probability of 21 by 365 to have its birthday matching with the remaining people in the room. Okay, I'm considering a second student. The second student birthday may be February 1st. Okay, so I'm going to check with anyone having February 1st as their birthday with the remaining students. The remaining students is 21. So the second student will have, we have to going to check the second student having same birthday. So the probability is 21 by 365. Okay, so now again, if the second student is also not matched, means I'm going to check the third student. The remaining is 21 students. Among this 21, I'm going to check the third student. So if I'm taking third student, means we'll have the probability of 20 by. So if I take one student from 21 means the remaining is 20. So 20 by 365. Likewise, I can check all these students. Okay. So this is the birthday paradox problem. So if what is the probability of having the getting the same date? Okay. See here and add on all the possibilities of all the students in the room. So 22 by 365, 21 by 365, 20 by 365, 19 and so on. You will get the total probabilities 50%. Okay. So I can say easily among the 23 people, the two person can have the same date or they may not have the same date. So equal probability, 50% chance at 50% is not getting the chance. Okay, I can say orally it is a 50%. When I can say it is a 100%, and when I can say it is a 99% means for 23 students, 365 days, 23 students, they may be a 50%. For 70 students, it may be 99%. If it is a 70 students means somewhat 99% will be there. And to get a 100%, when I can get a 100% means if you are having a 366 students means I can say 2% confirmly can have a same birthday because the number of days is 365. So one student should have a same date. Okay. So what I am saying this, when the number of students increases means we can have a chance to get the same birthday. Okay, so the birthday attacks use probabilistic logic to reduce the complexity in getting a matched collision and find the approximate risk of the existence of hash collision within a given number. Okay, so the how they are applying this birthday paradox problem in the hashing function means I already told the hashing function is used used mainly in the Gmail. That is wherever the password is using, they are using the hashing function. How they are getting this hash value means, for example, see, I'm using Pulsar at 123 as password. Okay, so I already given as password. So what the Gmail provider will do, they are giving the password to the hashing algorithm. They are getting unique identifier, and they are storing in the hash table. Okay, so the hackers are trying my password. They are giving Pulsar 231 and Pulsar 143 like that. So they are trying, keep on trying that value. If the we have to keep in mind the password is not stored anywhere in the Gmail. Just they are storing the hash identifier. If the hash identifier is matched, our password is also correct. They are identified, the password is also correct. So what they are doing, the includers doing means they keep on trying that password. Okay, so Pulsar 231, 321, 431 like. Okay, so keep on trying means sometimes the hashing identifier in a particular time the hash identifier may be same. Okay, so for example, how the data structure will have storing the value means 261 means it will be divided with the size of the hash table. So consider the size of the hash table is 10 means 261 divided by 10 is 1, remainder is 1. So in the first place the 261 will be stored. Similarly, if I'm storing 111, again 111 is divided by 10. Again, I'm getting the remainder 1. So what do I have to do? 111 is also should store in the place of 1, but it's already there. So if the value is already there means the password will be accepted, right? So instead of 261, if I'm giving 111 also, it will accept it, which means collision. If the collision occurs, we can get the password easily. We can log in the ID. Okay. So say here the birthday attacks use probabilistic logic to reduce the complexity in getting a matched collision. If the matched occurs, here the probability will be increased. Okay. So likewise, they are using the birthday attack. This also means that finding a specific hash collision is more difficult than finding a matching hash collision with the same values. Okay. So matching hash collision means that is 261 is also stored in the index place 1 and 111 is also stored in the index place 1. So 261 is already there means what will happen if we can store 111 in the same place. So there may be a matching collision because both are having index 1. Okay. So if you are having a match a hash collision means we can easily find out the key. Okay, one of the most common uses of the birthday paradox attacks is digital signature. Okay, so to here in the digital signature only they are trying to attack by using the birthday attack. How they are attacking means the digital signature susceptibility. I'll show my example. The digital signature is one area that is highly susceptible to a birthday attack. Okay, here F is a cryptographic function. Here are some function they are using. Message, M is a message which is signed as F of M using a specific secret key. That is, by using this F function, they are encrypting the message M. So which is F of M. Okay. So suppose Arun wants to consider an example. Arun wants to cheat a Vamsi by getting a fraudulent document signed by him. So Arun wants to cheat Vamsi by getting a fraudulent document signed by him. Okay, he's going to cheat Vamsi. So Arun makes a legitimate document called M and fraudulent document named as M dash. See, he's making both the original document and fraudulent document. So here Arun changes M to M dash. So whatever the document for a legitimate document is there, he has to find out the make the fraudulent document also at several positions. Wherever is there, we have to prepare. He will able to create multiple variations of the legitimate document. If so many, if 3 legitimate document is there, he have to make the 3 fraudulent document also. Okay. Similarly, Arun also created several variations of all documents. So he prepared all the fraudulent document for all legitimate documents. Okay. So here Arun can use the hash function to match hash value of f of m equal to f of m dash. So what is the main target here is whatever the document he can make a fraudulent document. So main thing what you have to do, we have to match the hash value. Whatever the legitimate document hash value should be equal to the fraudulent document hash value. Then only we can prove that both are same. Okay, in hashing technique, then only we can prove that both are same. So how they are proving the sense? Now even if Vamsi after proving, if he prove both are same means if Vamsi signs in the legitimate document, Arun can easily replace it with the matching document and prove that Vamsi originally signed the fraudulent document. If he once he match all the hash values of a legitimate document should be equal to the fraudulent document means he can easily cheat the Vamsi. So wherever Vamsi signed the legitimate document, it can be replaced by Arun. Okay. So likewise we can apply the brute force birthday attack. Okay. So here in this video, we have seen 5 types of cryptographic attacks. Thank you.